Good morning. My name is CD Tom, and I am going to go through and give you a tutorial on the SASS Premier scoring system. We're going to put this in 4 or 5, maybe 6 different parts, because depending on how long it takes to get through the whole program. Part 1 is going to be just going through a match setup. First thing we're going to do is, and it doesn't have to be the first thing, we'll look at the main match fees. Now we have comp, scorekeeper, junior, primary, spouse. One of the things you want to always do is, if we are giving away comps, you should always go through and give a description as to why we're giving away comps. And the reason for this is when you're doing your financial reports and say you have to give them to your club or something, it's going to come up and at least tell the club why we're giving comps. So if it's just says comp, then they might have to come back and say, well, why is this a comp? But this way you give the description and it makes it real clear. Okay, so if you don't need if you have extra fees in here that you don't want, just highlight them and press the delete fee, and that will go through and delete them. Alright, the next thing we're going to look at is the categories. Now the SASS program comes with pretty much all the standard categories that SASS has. If you scroll down through them, you'll see that these are all, pretty much the standard categories. There's lots of them in there. If you want to add a category, say that you have a group of small young guns that want to shoot, but they don't have all the equipment. Maybe they only are shooting 22s and they have a little 410 shotgun but maybe no rifle. You can set a category up for those by just coming down and giving it a code. We'll put it the XYZ for right now, and we'll give it youth under 12, and but if this is a small, you don't want that group to be calculated in with the final results, because that would throw the final results categories way off. So if you check that button right there, that will eliminate it from the final match categories. They will show up in your category report because they have a basic youth number, and it'll give how many people you have in there and give their placements. But it won't affect the match finals overall. Also, you have in here the this is population. How many people do you want to have in a category? Like in big matches, a lot of times you'll say that ladies at least have to have 5 in a category before it becomes a legal category, and maybe men are 7 or 8. We'll put in 7, and that way it just gives you a clue as to how many. If we'd only had 4 in a category, it's going to flag that and say, you need more people. You can eliminate a category from that underpopulated by this checkbox here. If you go in, buckaroos and buckarettes, you're not going to make them have 5 and 7 in a category, so you can eliminate those. Cattle baron and cattle baron duelist, will just check that. And we can go down through elder statesman. Yeah, maybe you want to have the elder statesman. We're all getting up there, so maybe we'll leave that set up. Now it doesn't stop any categories from doing. This is just a flag for you to look at. It doesn't, it's still the category. You can say that you have it set up as 5, and you have one of the categories that a lady only has 4 in. You could still run it. It doesn't hurt anything. Okay, so we can just go down through and we'll say, well, ladies duelist. So it's kind of just a way of keeping track of, of your category populations. Excuse me. If we want to eliminate a category, you can just go down and highlight it and press the delete category, and basically it's deleted. Okay, so we'll end up getting out of that. Okay, the next thing you want to look at probably is your event master. Now the event master are those events that you're offering at your match. This is usually for your big matches. Monthly matches you won't have events, but for your annual matches, maybe you're a regional, you want to do those, you'll have events that you'll set up. We can eliminate a category also by just highlighting it. We don't have a black powder match, so we're going to delete that. It's nice to keep this in as small as you can so you don't have a lot to scroll through when you're selecting the events. And you have Friday night dinner. Let's say that we are going to add a Saturday night banquet. And we're charging $25 for that. And we're going to pick that up with Saturday night, they'll say the 24th. Okay. RV hookups, you can have camping, RV. This we're going to say RV. With you, if you have a RV site at your range, maybe you have full hookups, you can set up your site for, say you have 50 spots, you can set up 50 spots and assign people to them. The thing is, you need to have the thing RV in the description someplace so it knows that this is going to be used for camping. Okay, so I'll go through that a little when we're registering shooters. I'll show you how that works. So we have early registration, late fees, Saturday night banquet, side matches. We're going to have a warm-up match in the AM, 9 a.m. and a warm-up match at the p.m. We're also going to show I guess I already put a Saturday night banquet in there, so I'm going to delete this one. Okay, I had a Saturday night banquet in there already. Okay, and that's how you delete it, same way. Just highlight the field or just click into the field and hit the delete key. Okay, so that's pretty much where we have there. Okay, let's go and show if you have this RV, if you have an RV site, you can go through and set those up. So you can give them site numbers. I don't know, however yours are marked. This gives a space size. If you want to use that, you can. Full hookups or just electrical, or this could be electrical and water both. I mean, it depends on what's there. And full hookups. So if you have, say these two are full hookups, and you're going to charge them $20 a night. We'll just go through and check in the 20. And maybe the B sites are electric only, and they're only going to be $15 a night. And if these, maybe the C are nothing, and so they're $10 a night. You just have spots for them. And this can go on. Just to go down here and add your next one and go along the line. Okay. So we'll go ahead and exit out of that, and we'll return to the main menu. Now the thing we're going to do now is go in and do the match setup. And at this point, we're going to, if we haven't already, we should clear the previous match. So we're going to go ahead and say yes to clear the previous match. And before you do any of that, make sure you have backed it up, and we'll go through and I'll show you how to do a backup here in a little bit. Okay? Alright, so we're going to clear the match. Okay, we've got basically this here will be, we're going to start the match on, say, the 18th, and it runs through the 25th. 25th. The reason for these, basically the beginning and the ending, if you're running a large match like End of Trail, Winter Range, and you have foreign visitors, maybe someone coming in from Australia or someone coming in from Germany, and they need an ATF letter to bring their firearms in, in the ATF letter, the letter needs to know the beginning and the ending date of your match. So that's what those are for. There is a standard ATF letter in the system that if you wanted to, you can print them out, and it's in the special reports and send them to them. So we have here 12. We're going to have a 12-stage match, and it begins on September 22nd. And we're going to rank point it. We're going to score by rank point. The other one, we'll go in and do a warm-up match, and the warm-up matches are going to be on the 21st, and we're going to score those by total time. Now we can also go in here and change the name, and this is where we're going to do a 9 a.m. match. Okay, and we're going to charge $15 for that match. Now it says here that the events master has been updated with the new match and fee. Please, check the event master for duplicates. So we'll do that. Also, we have the warm-up the Wild Bunch match, and the date is going to be the bio match starts on today, and we're going to do that by rank points by category. That's how we're scoring the Wild Bunch match these days. And when that button is checked, you'll notice that this line comes, this option down here comes up. And this is the time per shot. So it's 10 seconds per shot. And when you click on here, it brings up the stages and you ended up having to put in how many shots there are per stage. Now, if you don't have your book with the number of shots for the Wild Bunch stages yet, you can wait. You can always come back and do this later, but you want to make sure that you put those stage counts in there, because that's going to affect the scores. Okay. We'll also go through, and we're gonna set up our second warm-up match here, and that's on the 22nd. And this says it's been updated, but we're going to go ahead and do it just by total time. And we're going to change the description to warm up, and we'll call it 2 p.m. And we'll say OK, and we're going to charge $15. And we want to keep giving you the message. We'll go back and check that. You can also set up a Wild Bunch warm-up match if you want to do it here. If you're not going to have a plainsman, you can. If you're going to have a plainsman's match, well, let's go ahead and set up a warm-up match for the Wild Bunch. We'll set that up. It's just a 4-stage match. We'll call it the 18th. And whether we scored or not, we'll hit the score button out here. Now if we go, I want to show you, we're going to go in and change the name. See where it says we're going to change that to Wild Bunch. Warm up, and we'll say OK, and we'll charge $15 for that also, and it says it's been updated. Now you notice that this was changed, also this was changed, so all these descriptions get changed to what the new description is. So now we've changed them, everything in through here. So these are all been updated. I got the different scores set up. We're going to do the special packet labels. The special packet labels they have all the information regarding that shooter. They'll have what events they signed up for. It will show what they paid, if they owe anything. It'll show that all on their thing. Also, we're going to do the score sheets by alpha, so they'll be on the stage score sheets will come out in alphabetical order. If you're using ASAS, I'll go through this ASAS with you in another part, but right now we'll just leave that blank. You will notice there's a tab out here for additional match options. If you have Outlook, and problem is because this is Microsoft Access, it works very well with Outlook, but it doesn't work very well with Google or any of the other emails. You can set up Outlook to receive any mails that you want, or just set it up so that you have it to work with. But what this will do is send a backup to offsite storage. It's a good idea to get your backups someplace other than your computer or even to a jump drive, because say that your computer crashes and you have your backups on the hard drive. Well, you've lost it. If you have this happened to a club that they had it there on a jump drive, but the jump drive was in the computer case was in the truck. The computer got stolen out of the truck, so all the backups were gone. If you send this, it doesn't have to be to me, CD Tom, although I will keep the backups for you. You can send it to anybody that you want, so they have a backup. What it does, after the backup is done, it zips up the file and sends it to whatever the address is, and it'll say, you can just put a name here. So if you were sending it to Wild Bill Hickok, you could put Wild Bill's name in here, and it would come up and say, howdy Wild Bill, here's a backup for, and it puts the club name on the backup. And you have options of high, low range. This basically is just a stop gap that in case you entered into a score on this, when you're entering scores of 175 seconds, it's going to come up and say, this is over the limit. Are you sure that that's the correct score? It's just a safety option so that you don't end up having to go, when it's all done and someone's proofing those score sheets, that they find that this is wrong. It stops you at that point. And you put a low range the same way, although people are getting to shoot very fast, so the low ranges are down there. Load to website and that type of information, we can talk about that later. Delay, email delay in seconds. This is for when you're sending out mass emails, and we'll maybe go through that later if we have time. Okay, so that's all set up. So what we've done, we've gone through. Now what we want to do is check that event master. Let's go through and check that, because see, here's one. It says warm up. So basically we have our warm. We don't need that one in there, so we're going to delete that one. And also there's one that says Wild Bunch. We're going to delete that out of there because we really don't need that one either. Other than that, that's pretty much, you got your warm up, you got your warm up in the morning and morning and afternoon, and pretty much about your Wild Bunch warm up with the dates. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. Let's go through and delete this. I think okay. Alrighty. Okay. So that pretty much does this match setup. I'm going to do, right now, since we got this all ready to go, I'm going to do a backup at this point. And we can go through, and I've already set up a hard drive, directory here, but I could basically set another one up if I wanted to. But I'm going to go in there, and I have a folder set up for part 1. So we're going to go in there, and we're going to say OK. Now the reason we want to back up, and you put them in a special folder because maybe before your main match you want to do, you have a monthly match coming up. So you want to go through and set everything up for the monthly match. So what you can do, and as soon as this finishes backing up, and takes a little bit. These are some big files in this tutorial. Okay, the backup is complete. Now what it's going to do here, alright, it says backup data has been sent. What it did, it turned it up and sent it out to CD Tom at this. A copy of the zip file is located in the C Premier directory, backup directory. Okay, so if you don't have Outlook and you have that checked, you can go into this Premier directory backup That's in the C drive. Get to my C drive. Alright, C drive. And there's the Premier backup. And there's the file we just created. It puts the name of the club, which would be your club name, the date of the backup, in a zip file. So if you didn't have Outlook, it would create this. And it would also let you, then you could attach this to an email and send it out to somebody. Okay. Right, so let's say that we've got this set up and we've got it backed up. Now we're going to go through and we have a monthly match coming up. So what we need to do now is go in and we're going to do a match setup, because we haven't registered anybody yet, but we got a monthly match. So if we do a match setup, and we're going to clear the previous match, okay, so our monthly matches consist of 5 stages, and we've got a monthly match coming up here. We'll put it in, well, we'll just say we'll call our monthly match the 1st of October, which is coming up shortly. And that's all we have, is just a monthly match. And we can go out of this. Now we have, if you look at this, you might want to put, maybe our, monthly match, and maybe we only charge $10 for the monthly match. And you can have these in there, say monthly non-member, and maybe we charge non-members $15. Okay, so then you have these, and these can be left this way. It's not a problem. You can leave everything in there, your monthly, your and maybe you might want to do primary, annual, or whatever. So, but okay, and normally your categories are pretty much stay the same. You don't have any events to give away. So now you're ready to register people for, and we could just go in and we'll hang on. We're going to go in and we're going to say, at this point I'm going to say cancel, because I don't want to clear what I just did. And I am going to maybe change this to, monthly 10/01/2016. So we've changed the date in here. This you can leave alone because it doesn't matter, because you're not going to be sending out any, and maybe you only do your monthlies by total time. And you want to do total time in match plus maybe 20 seconds because this has been checked down here. So you're going to do total time. This is the number of stages, and you can go through and set up your number of shots per stage. 24, and you don't have to go through. You got 5, maybe there's 26, so you don't need to worry. You don't have to clear everything else out if you don't want to. Maybe that's a number of stages. So it's going to do 5 seconds per shot plus 20 seconds if you have a match DQ or stage DQ. Okay, so then you could go through and see, now this is changed. Now you go through and register your shooters for your monthly match. Okay, we'll just, we don't need to register anybody. We'll put into, okay, and we'll register them. Now, say that your monthly match is done and you need to go back to your registration, to your annual match because you've got registrations coming in. Just go back down here, make sure you back up your monthly. Then you can back up that monthly. Then we'll do a restore. And we'll go to that test tutorial, part 1, and restore the data. And it's going to do, we want to restore the complete master. Now when I said to restore the complete master, say that in your monthly you added some new shooters to the system. And see, now we're back to part 1 match setup. So you're back to that. If we do the match setup here and go in and take a look at that, we'll see that it is right back to where we left off with all the information available there for us. But like I was saying, when you did your monthly and you added some new shooters to your database, when you do the restore, and we'll go through and do the restore here to the test tutorial again, part 1. Now, this message says restore complete master from the backup. No will add shooters from the backup file that are not in your current master. So if we say no to this, the system it'll go through those people that were in your backup are not going to overwrite. You'll have all the new people. You're not going to completely wipe out those from the backup, the new shooters. This will bring in those shooters that were there from before. So your new shooters will now be in the database. And restore complete. So now we're back to this setup. Okay, well that should pretty much takes care of, I think, the setup for the new match, for your match setup. So we'll go ahead and call that good for part 1, and we'll have part 2 in the next few days, and we'll set up a part 2, which will be registration. Thanks. Bye-bye.